It's a new year, a new season, and we are underway.
Really dominating fashion here today is going to win.
2-3-4 for the final time.
Win number 1 on the season, only just barely.
He is going to win here at the Nazareth Speedway.
Wins the Emerson Electric 100K.
Gonna be Igor Barretto's gonna eke it out.
Cup Series champion is Shane Lake in the number 15.
Welcome to the NOFSRL.
As the 2021 season continues, the Body Armor Cup Series takes the show up to Sin City here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for today's running of the Caesars Palace 600K. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the 9th round of the season here. We're on the 4th of 5 races out here on the West Coast. Started at Auto Club, went to Phoenix, went back to California to Willow Springs last week, here in Las Vegas, and then we wrap that all up next weekend in Armory Digital. That is going to be an absolute thriller of a race up there. But we have to get through Las Vegas first, and joining me up here in the booth today is Napa Fan for the second time this season, and Las Vegas, kind of an interesting track. It can be tough to pass at times, but you know, things can get a little wild here. What are you expecting here today at Las Vegas?
Yeah, well, when the NOFSRL Cup Series was here 3 weeks ago, we had a caution-free race, so it got interesting. But once the cycle of pit stops happened, John Anders, as we all know, pulled away, dominated that race. So if we get a caution in this race, I think that'll definitely spice it up and we'll have a good race. But if we go caution-free here, someone may dominate near the end of this race. It may be difficult to pass them, but you got to get up front when you can. It's not going to be too much of a cycle race. It's definitely going to be interesting, but should be a fun one here at Las Vegas.
It is definitely going to be interesting here. We haven't had too many true mile and a halves this season. We had Atlanta, and this, I think, is really our only second mile-and-a-half track. We'll have a few more of these before the year rolls out. Let's get you updated with the points. Fresh off of his win at Willow Springs, Caleb Rose has got himself a little bit of a buffer room over Justin Zeidel and Dustin Davis, who swapped positions in the points. Igor Barretto is now up to 4th, so Collins Racing just absolutely blasting out of the gate here this season. They have been on fire. You've got David Johnson into 10. Angel Olvera's moving his way up through the field. Scott Upton slid back just a little bit. Take a look at some other notables there. You got Colton Yo slid back a bit. Ada Macrow and Zachary Fitzwater, big gainers as well last week. Eric Monaco lost a few spots, still trying to hang on there. Joe Rutkowski with some big gains there, and Brandon Nelson also with some big gains there in the points. A lot of guys who did not have good seasons going into last weekend at Willow Springs came out of it with a lot better results. But starting on the pole for the second time this season, which happens to be the other race you called. He started on the pole at Auto Club. He starts on the pole again here today at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's Andrew Miller in the number 51. Well, outside of him, our two-time winner this season, Caleb Rose, alongside them. Row number 2 is going to feature Justin Zeidel, second in the points, with William Brock next to him. His American Motorsports teammate Logan Williams starts on the outside of row number 3 with Bailey Pendergast to his inside. Colton Yo and Christopher Alvey make up row number 4. David Johnson, also high up in points, comes next alongside of Thomas Trox on the inside. Alexander Rose, Zachary Fitzwater, Noah Clifton rocking a new sponsor this weekend, and your guy Eric Monaco. 49 laps here today. Pit fuel window should be pit stop about 27 to 30 laps. It's a little bit shorter as it's a 600K, so not your normal 400-lap race, and a 400-mile race. Take a little bit of laps off there, but time to get those picks in. And Napa, who do you have here winning today in the Caesars Palace 600?
Let's go ahead and go with that number 8 car of Alexander Rowe. Pretty solid driver. He's had couple of good runs over in the NOFSRL Cup Series as of late. I think he's going to have another good run here and possibly go to victory lane on number 8 machine.
Now that Fisher G Motorsports looking to get themselves out of the basement of the points. They come in with their drivers 39th and 41st in the points. It has been terrible, terrible this season, but up front, two guys it has not been terrible for. Andrew Miller, Caleb Rose. They're going to take us up through the gears, and we are racing in the Caesars Palace 600 here at Las Vegas. Coming to lead lap number 1, it's going to be Andrew Miller in the 51 with Zidell jumping to second, but Pendergast in the Dodge is going to go for second underneath him. Oh my goodness, Alvey slid up. That is first, second, and fifth in the points, all right there in the top run into this field. Alvey sliding his way down on the bottom. Pendergast clears for second. David Johnson's moving up through the field. The guy you picked to win, Alexander Rose, moving up on the bottom. The bottom side seems to be gaining some momentum here early on in this race, but you see some guys really making that top side work here in the first couple of laps.
Yeah, that outside lane, especially through turns 3 and 4. You can get that outside lane to work sometimes, but very unique racetrack. You know, this is not a place where you're going to see a bunch of cycle racing like we did in the Cup Series at Atlanta last week. But top two guys, they're pulling away right there. You got the 32. Am I right about that? 32 machine? Mm-hmm. Yes. 32 machine there of Bailey Pendergast right behind Andrew Miller. Of course, Miller, he's a pretty solid driver over in the Cup Series side, on the NOFSRL Cup Series side, so no surprise to see him run well. But how about those top two? They have pulled away, and Pendergast is looking to the inside here. He may get a run on Miller for the race lead.
He's going to go to the inside of Andrew Miller. Thought about it there for a moment, and we got a spin in the back. Oh, it's going to be a big one in the back of the field. Oh, my goodness.
Brother.
Oh my goodness, it's the Las Vegas Jam in the back of the field. Eric Monaco, Zachary Fitzwater, Arthur Xavier, Brock Nelson, Shane Lake, Josh Williamson, Daniel Bouchard. Oh, there was more guys behind them. Alonzo, Nelson Reeves. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of guys who did not need to get torn up here at this race. Angel Olvera, who is just starting to really work his way up in the points. See some guy. Keegan, both of the Fisher G cars moved up a ton on those first opening laps. I'm not sure what happened here, but now this makes things interesting because we're kind of early in this race. If these guys pit now, oh boy.
They're still going to have to come back down again, I believe.
What? What?
Oh! Was that I don't know. I don't know if you can do that.
That... I don't actually know if that's legal or not. We're going to find out.
See if they get them for that on the penalty there. They may very well penalize them for that.
It's in the box. Yeah. Oh, everybody doing splash and go. I guess we'll really find out. Ooh, Caleb Rose not getting out of his spot. Stall efficiently there. We'll find out really coming to the restart if Pendergast ended up getting penalized for that. I would assume that's a penalty, but obviously this game has a mind of its own sometimes. But about half the field stayed out, and it's going to be led by the Aussie of Noah Clifton, followed by the Canadian of Keegan Thompson, and the man from New York, Jesse Turner, William Brock, and Colton Yo, rounding out the top 5. We will take a short break, take a look here, and see what happened to bring out the first caution of the day with a big wreck here in the back of the field. Our first yellow of the day in the Caesars Palace 600. So watch this 21 and Nelson Reeves. He's just going to get absolutely yeeted by Angel Olvera in the 42. They slide down, which doesn't look too bad until right there when Reeves just skyrockets back up the racetrack. He door slams Fitzy in the 15. Igor Barreto, my goodness, was his day close to being a disaster here. I think Reeves gets some tires off the ground. See, Alonzo's in there. Shane Lake, Arthur Xavier, Bouchard. That's Equan. That is Equan Haslam up there, who's going to restart in the top 10, I believe. Just coming to an absolute stop there. Eric Monaco, Josh Williamson. Lots and lots of big names here torn up in this crash here very early on in this race.
And you're going to see Nelson Reeves here in the 21. He just slides up, and then the 42 gets into him, and yeah. And with that big of a pack, there's just nowhere for anyone to go, especially off of a corner like that, and it's just a junkyard off of turn 2 here at Las Vegas. It's definitely going to affect the championship a lot. A lot of heavy hitters in this championship getting involved in this action, but it's going to make the race quite interesting. And if you guys come down the pit lane, we'll have to see what they end up doing later on in the race. Like you said, we look at the fuel end up being around 30 laps. It could be a little bit lower. We'll just have to see how it all goes down.
Back here coming to the restart, it'll be lap number 9 when we get the green flag. And obviously, you know, again, a little few less laps than a normal full-length race here today. So it's going to make these restarts all the more important. Noah Clifton rocking the Dairy Queen colors this week. Keegan Thompson in the 69. Nice run for him. Jesse Turner in the 6. William Brock in the 34. Colton Yo, Igor Barreto, Davey Johnson, Trey Bartow, Joe Rutkowski, and Daniel McMillan round out the top 10. First man who stopped was Andrew Miller right here back in the 51 in. Didn't lose a whole lot of time. He's only in 18th. So we will see, we will see here over the run how that affects him. But here they come back up through the gears, coming to the restart here. What the hell just happened? Why did my frame rate just dip?
I didn't notice anything.
I could see my frame rate like dipping. Give me a second. Stupid Adobe crap. Here they come back up through the gears as Noah Clifton is going to get himself a little bit of a jump heading off into turns 1 and 2. Thompson's going to look to the bottom for the moment, but Turner's going to look to the bottom on him in that number 6 machine. And he might have a shot to go for second. Not quite yet there. William Brock, first man to step out of line and try to make a pass.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if anyone can get around Clifton here, because with that single file restart, oh, here comes Keegan Thompson. He tried to get a run right there. He might have a shot entering 1 here, but going to be interesting to see too. Miller and all those guys, they were running up front, but they took fuel only. They have no advantage at this point. We may be in store for a fuel mileage race, depending on how that all goes. I imagine we'll be close to a 30-lap fuel run here, but going to be interesting to see what those guys do. But now we got some new faces up front, and see how they battle here. Thompson's going to keep on trying on Clifton here.
Now, a lot of new faces up here that we really haven't seen too much. Obviously, Noah Clifton almost won the Daytona 500. Outside of that, we haven't seen a whole lot of him this year. Keegan Thompson comes in bottom of the standings. It's been a disaster for him. Oh, my goodness. That was a massive send into that corner, and that's going to open the door for Turner.
Keep in mind, Jesse Turner won the NOFSRL Cup Series race here last year in 2020, so he knows how to get it done here in Las Vegas. But that outside lane, it's going to make this race quite interesting, because even though this is essentially the same track that we went to in NOFSRL Cup Series a couple weeks ago, these cars race completely different on it with that high downforce. That outside lane is exactly where you want to be. Look at Keegan Thompson there with a huge run there through the corner.
He's going to run that middle lane to perfection. It's going to open him up a little bit of a gap now. So he'll get a nice amount of breathing room there in that 69 machine. Back to Turner. See those guys, they're kind of starting to move up just a little bit, and they're opening up the lane there to get that middle lane to work a little bit better for them, which is going to be interesting as the run goes on and his guys start to move around the racetrack more. Barreto's up to 4th. Great run for him. Trey Bartow, another guy we haven't talked about much at all this season. He's running up in 5th. Comes in at 36 in points. So you have a lot of guys running up here right now who just are not having good point seasons. Bartow goes to the inside. He might try and make it 3 wide off the corner here. Oh, this is going to get tight coming off of the corner. Clifton with the edge, though.
That's a good run there for Bartow. He got 2 for 1 right there, and he's going to try to get 3 right here. That outside lane is really good, though.
Oh, he's going to go for it.
Bartow's going to be coming here. That 27. Hey, Bartow and Keegan, pretty good friends. They know each other pretty well at this point, and have to see how well they battle on the racetrack.
A lot of passing early on here throughout this top couple of guys. Not swapping the lead every single lap or anything, but these guys are moving all over the racetrack here. And it's interesting to note, just taking a look in the background, William Brock's going to dive down. We'll take a very fast look here, but I don't see Bailey Pendergast in the 32 has moved his way up to, he's only up to 18th. Nobody who hit has really moved up. You see, all those guys who made pit stops, they have hardly moved up at all. It's going to be interesting to see, if strategy comes into play in this race, will they have an advantage? Will they, be stuck where they're at? And if another caution comes out, it could completely neutralize all the strategy here. Again, this is only a 600K. They don't have as many laps as they normally do. Bartow thought about there going to the bottom of 1 and 2. He thinks better of it for now. They're all single file up here at the front of the field, but they are extremely close. And Barretto's going to step out of line and try and go for third here as Bartow goes for the lead.
Ooh, he almost put the bumper to Keegan right there. That's going to give him the opportunity to go to the inside. You mentioned those guys that came down. None of them took tires, so that's why they're not getting an advantage at this point. But Bartow to the lead here in Las Vegas.
First time, I think, all year Bartow in that 27 has been out front. Haven't seen a whole lot of Ryan racing this year outside of Equan has him, but never know. Bartow comes in only about 226 points off the point lead, but it's better late than never to turn things around. Noah Clifton.
Hey, I mean, he came back from over 100 points in the Turkey Hill Series when he won his championship back in 2016, so
anything is possible.
I'm not counting out, especially when you get 100 points to win in this series. You can definitely close that in pretty quick.
Oh, yeah, it's still early in the season, too. I mean, even Keegan Thompson, 307 points back. If he could get a top 5 here today, he would probably move up 10 spots by default. So we'll see how this plays out for him. Bartow leads. This whole pack is starting to double file stack up here. You got Clifton, Thompson, Turner, Brock, Barretto, Rutkowski, Macrow, Haslam, Davey Johnson, and Nathan Baird, Colton Yo hanging on there. A lot of mix between veterans, inexperience, guys who have wins, guys who don't. But right now you got 4 guys actually leading the field with no wins in this series. William Brock, the first man who does have a lead or a win in this series. But it is getting very interesting here at the front of this field, and we are closing in on halfway in this race.
Yeah, this is definitely a fast race. Bartow's trying to pull away here. Those guys battling for second. A lot of Bartow to just pull over this thing. That's, this is the closest thing I've seen this 2019 mod actually race to the real life Cup package. It's not exact, but these guys get side by side and it just kills their momentum. And obviously that happens with any package, but it seems really obvious here in Las Vegas, and you definitely need to catch up to a guy before you start battling with him. Keegan Thompson seems to have a pretty fast car right here, but Bartow obviously seems to have the fastest car at this point, as he's got about a 6/10 of a second lead right now in that number 27 machine.
Yeah, I think he might have opened it up a little bit more at the stride. Well, yeah, 7/10 of a second here, but Keegan Thompson, he's trying to work a slightly higher line and get that middle line to work. Ooh, he made a great run off of turn 2 there. Gapped himself from Clifton, so he might actually have a shot to close in a little bit here. These guys are all single file here for the moment. Clifton, Turner, Brock, Barretto, Rutkowski. Barretto, the big guy here, trying to make some gains in the driver's standings and see if he can maybe close in that gap to his teammate. Thompson and Bartow pulling away here. Now Clifton sliding a little wide. It is interesting to note, too, these guys, as planted as they can be in these corners, you see them sliding all over the place here. You can see that little bit of backtailing, guys just sliding around, using up all this racetrack here on these lower 2 lanes.
And all that desert dust getting in the way. Kind of like how F1 testing was at Bahrain earlier today.
Daru sandstorm.
We got a lot of it. And I mean, it's interesting. It's a bit of a worn out surface too. I mean, it's not like this is a newly paved racetrack. These guys, they're trying to find some speed up there too. And Keegan Thompson getting a bit of a run down the backstretch because that run that he got on the outside lane, he's trying to close in there on Trey Bartow, and Noah Clifton's hanging with him as well. Keegan Thompson has definitely closed in on Bartow here, and he really closed in that last lap.
Oh, he's going to definitely take a big chunk out of that 27's lead. And if he can get a little closer, oh, he sliced the lead in half in that 69 machine. Now we're going to see if he can get a little closer. He's going to have a shot to get some of the draft effect off of that 27. They go down the back straightaway. Still single file the top 3. Turner's slipping back just a little bit. Brock is holding steady in 5th. Now Clifton's going to try and go to the bottom. This may... Oh, Clifton. Oh.
And this may be why those guys came down the pit lane the last time. Now Clifton here, they're going to cross halfway this time, so I don't think anyone but Clifton's going to have an issue, but That's going to make things interesting. No doubt about it.
Well, like you said, he is right on halfway. He pit coming to lap 25, so that essentially on a normal race, that put him at 50 laps. So he should be good here. Now the interesting thing, so everybody should be good to go at this point. Now, this is going to be an interesting game of cat and mouse.
There might be a problem on Troxel. He seems a little slow back in there. I'm not sure if he tried to come down the pit lane or not, but that 53 is way off pace.
I think he's got a problem there in that 53. Won at Auto Club. It's been an up and down season for him. Now, the interesting thing to be, there's two very interesting things we have to watch here as our leaders come to pit road. We'll see if anybody stays out. So the first guy who stays out is one of the guys who pitted in, Christopher Alvey. Everybody else on the racetrack right now, I believe, pit when the caution came out. This is where things get interesting. They restarted with about 9 to go. It's just not, with the way the fuel window is looking there, they're going to have to pit in about 7 laps. I don't think the strategy is going to have worked out for them here today, unfortunately.
Well, if they get a caution, it will work out, because at this point, they're going to lap everyone, and if that happens, they're going to be at the advantage. So that was partly why they came down, and with all these guys coming off the pit lane, sometimes you can get an issue coming off and you get a wreck, so we'll have to see how it all goes down, but how about Christopher Alvey right here, number 48? I mean, he hasn't had a good run in the NOFSRL Cup Series, but knock on wood, doing a nice job right here in Las Vegas right now.
He has just not had a great 2021 at all. He's had bad luck in the NOFSRL Cup Series, was part of the biggest Daytona wreck I think we've ever seen, and nobody's going to make it. So that's going to answer that question. They're not going to really make it long. Oh, what in the world? Uh-oh. What in the world just happened?
Called the cops. He was speeding down pit lane. Who was that?
That's Brock Nelson. That's Brock Nelson. So that's 2 pit road incidents here today that we can't explain.
Now, I will say, Pendergast never got penalized for commitment cone earlier. I don't know what they're going to do about Nelson there.
Somebody else who doesn't mind that, though, Noah Clifton. He jumped Trey Bartow in the pit stop sequence, but now Bartow's going to look to go back to the inside. Oh, my goodness, we had a wreck. Did we have a wreck?
No, I think that may have actually been Brock Nelson. I think that was the smoke from Brock Nelson. I think he may have gotten spun into the pit lane.
That would actually make sense.
We're still green, and these guys will eventually cycle back to the lead.
That would actually make a lot of sense if that was what actually happened there.
Because, like I said, that's something that happens here quite often. You get someone to spin, and, he was heading towards the pit lane, and by the time he saved it, he was on the pit lane. He was like, I might as well go ahead and take fuel now because I need it.
I'm not going to penalize him for him anyway.
Bartow's going to take the lead back here in the 27.
Bartow back to out front
Actually,
here.
There's still a couple guys out there.
Who's
I think it will eventually cycle through.
I think everybody's pit. I thought I saw the blue. Yeah, I see Olvera on the pit on the bottom. I don't know where. It's got Monaco listed as the leader, but I can't. Oh, there he is. So he's on pit road now.
He is yet to pit there. So I think once these guys come around, they'll finally cycle through.
Now this is going to get interesting. Bartow's going to run into some lap traffic here. Got a few new players up here really digging their name up at the front. Aiden Macro in the 70. Bartow's teammate, Equan, has him in the 72. He's already a 2-time winner in this series and has won before this season. He would love to tie his name with Josh Williamson atop the series all-time leaderboard. Patrick Smith, though, is going to slow these guys up. Thompson's going to go to the bottom. Oh, that's going to hold Clifton up, but Bartow's going to get hauled up by Xavier. Down to the bottom he goes. Xavier held him up big time there. Thompson and Haslam are going to come sliding right in, and it's a 3-horse race back at the front here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway with under 20 laps to go.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Bartow hasn't pulled away with this one quite yet. Thompson knows he's got a fast car. This may be between Thompson and Bartow for the race win, which is a fun battle if it is. Has him there as well. Bit of a dark horse for this one. Bro there in the 70, or in the 70, I should say. He's had a good run, and William Brock's been up here too. So, all these guys will have a shot, especially if they get racy up in the front. These guys could find their way up towards the front and possibly have a shot at this race victory. So, got a little ways to go here. 17 laps left in this race, so Anyone can still win it here in this top 10.
It is flying by, though. A great race here today so far. Loving the, definitely want to experiment more with the shorter race distances in the future. Equan has him diving to the bottom of Keegan Thompson. Oh, they're going to go 3 wide. Is Macrow going to feel dangerous to the bottom? He's not quite got enough car yet.
That's definitely good news for Bartow, but Bartow's going to have another lap car to get around here in front of him.
But now he's got Brock Nelson.
But he isn't. That's Brock Nelson. He obviously know he's fast.
He is very fast.
Yeah, so I don't think he'll actually affect Bartow. I mean, if he tries to get around, if Bartow catches up to Brock Nelson and tries to get around him, he may slow him down a little bit, but it's not going to be like some of these lap machines. Has him up to second now. How about these teammates?
These two teammates, so Equan has him, looking to become just the second 3-time winner in this series. But Ryan Racing, we have seen teams score double podiums in this series. We've never seen a team score a 1-2 finish. Could Ryan Racing change that today? Adam Macro wants to throw his hat into the ring here. Oh, Haslam got way too wide there. It's going to slide him up the hill. Jesse Turner's now moving his way up to 3rd, so Haslam's going to lose a 2-fer there with that little mistake. And now Macro, the rookie, chasing down Bartow, the rookie, who's in the draft of Brock Nelson. He's going to try and get by him here, but Macro got a huge run off the corner. It's going to allow him to close in. I think he's going to have shaved almost half that gap off at the line. That's going to come down. He's closing fast. That 17 is definitely holding up the leader of Bartow.
Yeah. Aiden McCrow just may be faster in general, though. He's worked his way through the field here. Bartow's going to try to get around. See, the problem is Nelson's just as fast as these guys, and Bartow try to get around him, and that's going to open the door for McCrow here in the 70 machine. And how about Turner there up to 3rd? These guys get side by side. That might bring these 3 guys back into the lead battle. Oh, boy, they're trying.
Especially with
Nelson
the 17.
may be the one that gets them all in the lead battle, but there we go for the race lead.
Here goes Macro to the bottom of the racetrack on the inside lane, coming to 11 laps to go at the stripe, side by side, down into 3 and 4. Oh, Bartow's going to power on that outside, and he's going to hook it around the top. Can he keep it clear? He's going to get right back around Macro. He's not done yet, but that little side by side there is going to allow Turner, Haslam, Brock, Thompson, Barretto, and don't count out Noah Clifton quite yet. He still has these guys in his sights. Top 8 cars, all within just over a second of each other. And there goes Macro back down here to the lead.
Exactly what Turner wants to see. That number 6, that 72. They closed in tremendously when these guys went side by side. And here comes that 6 machine of Turner.
Oh, is he going to think?
He's going to try on the outside.
He's going to think about it.
Wide.
He's going to think about it.
Is.
Oh, in the 1 and 2.
Look at Jesse. Oh, he's going to slide up into him.
He's going to make contact down at the bottom. It's going to see if he can clear him. This 17 and Nelson is really throwing a curveball into this whole race. And now Turner's going to have drafting help from the 72 of Haslam on the bottom. Macro on the top side. Doesn't quite have the run.
Oh, will he clear him?
He's gonna.
He will. How about that? He got him. And I was just as I was saying there, Bartow and McCrow were going side by side. That's going to allow those guys to close in, and that was the perfect opportunity for Turner. But now, none of these guys have gotten around Brock Nelson yet. If Turner can get around that 17, the race is over.
The first, I definitely do believe that the first man who gets around this 17 of Brock Nelson is probably going to win this race, unless, of course, he brings someone along with him. That 17, though, despite his damage, is just clocking fast lap times, but we're not done yet. Adam Macro looking to get Arctic Racing their first win of the season. Oh, he might have gotten a little bit of an arrow push onto that 6 machine of Jesse Turner. Turner on the top side. This has been an, oh my goodness, is Haslam going to think about it, splitting the middle off at turn 2?
He was feeling dangerous, but he didn't go for it.
Oh my goodness.
Now Haslam up to second. And 72's been fast too. Bartow's gone. You know, Bartow's just...
Oh, here he comes. He's coming. He's coming
there,
back.
But I don't know if he's going to have enough time to work his way back to the front. That's the big question.
Well,
like
if this 17...
Oh, here we go.
Oh my goodness. I thought Turner about wrecked it.
Give a lot of props to Turner here. He's been doing a great job holding these guys off. He may actually finally get a run here on Nelson.
Oh, there he goes.
Good run through the middle. That shot Nelson up the middle. Turner's doing all he can to get around the 17. He's got the opportunity now as they go side by side for second. He might get it right here.
He's going to have to do this quickly, though. The one thing he doesn't want to do is open the door for the 72 and the 70 to come with him, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
But now here's the thing. Now that Brock Nelson isn't in front of the leader, it's going to be harder for these guys in second to get around him, so that might just do it, especially if they go battle for second like they are right now. McCrow back to the inside of Haslam.
Well, we're going to see. We've seen a lot of guys slide the corners, slide the runs, get up the hill. It's not over yet. Macro definitely, I still believe Macro might have the fastest car left on the racetrack here. He's clear for second. He's got Turner in his sights. Haslam is still in third. Brock in fourth. Bartow in fifth. You got Barretto, Clifton, and Thompson still hanging in there, but most of these guys probably don't have a shot. Shout out to Christopher Alvey. He has made the strategy work. He's got himself into the top 10. Nobody else. You got Pendergast up there, but Alvey has really made the strategy work. It is going to be 4 laps to go here at the stripe. Aiden Macrow is about, it's got 3, just under 4/10 of a second behind Jesse Turner in the 6th. Now he's, unlike say in Atlanta or some of these other mile and a halves, he's going to have to get to the back of that 6 car very quickly. And Equan Haslam's going back to the inside of him. We're going to find out if these guys have enough time. I think they're running out of time to catch Turner, but anything can happen here. It's been a crazy race. 3 laps to go here at the line.
Yeah, Jesse has definitely had a strong car in this later run. I mean, he went right up there and took the lead away, and now he doesn't have Brock Nelson ahead of him. I think he's going to be able to hold. We'll have to see.
Oh, Macro's coming.
Run there that
Macro's coming. I don't think this is over. Macrow looking to the top side. These two have to be careful because Haslam and Brock are still there and ready to pounce. It is 2 laps to go here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We've only had 1 yellow. At this point, a yellow ends the race. Macrow, Turner both looking for their first wins. Jesse Turner looking for his
yellow.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, brother.
What in the...
Caleb Rose had an issue. Stopped on the racetrack. This is it.
This is it. Coming to the checkered flag. We're coming to the yellows and the white flag. Jesse Turner's going to come across the finish line. No, the white flag. There's no yellow out. There's no yellow out. Oh, but the pace car's gone.
The lights are blinking. The lights are blinking.
Pace car is out in front. Oh, I do see that now. I have no idea what happened to Caleb Rose.
Yeah, he just had some, I think he had a mechanical issue and just stopped on the racing surface. And I mean, it was a good thing he wasn't in the racing line. Those guys came in fast on him there down the back. Given that Turner comes around here, first career win in the Body Armor Cup Series?
Yes, it is. This is going to come around the corner for the final time. Finish under yellow. He came into this race 37th in the points, 233 off the lead. But if there's one way to turn your season around, it is by scoring victories, and that is what he's going to do here today. Jesse Turner, first career win in the Body Armor Cup Series. He wins the Caesars Palace 600K, getting Buck Racing their first win in this series. Aiden Macrow gets, I believe that's his career best finish. Equan Haslam going to go P3, a fantastic day for Ryan Racing. William Brock in the 34. You've got Trey Bartow in the 27, a double top 5 for Ryan Racing. Barretto in 6, Noah Clifton, another solid run for him. Keegan Thompson, 8th in the race, is definitely going to move him out of the basement. Christopher Alvey goes 9th, and Davey Johnson 10th. And shout out to Joe Rutkowski. It's going to help Polar Star Motorsports is definitely going to get a pretty good points day out of that. But some of the big dogs in the championship today, David Johnson, Justin Zidell, Caleb Rose, obviously, it came apart there at the end, Dustin Davis. A lot of the big names in the championship hunt absolutely nowhere to be found today in an absolutely wild race here at Las Vegas.
That was fun, though. That was better than my Las Vegas race, I'll say that much. You scored a dub right there with that one, Matt.
That was
Jesse Turner. It's always a good day when Jesse Turner goes to victory lane. We all love Jesse. Greatest guy in the community. One of the greatest guys in this community, no doubt about it. Great to see him get the win.
Definitely thought we had a couple pace car driver going to do his best Bailey Pendergast impression. Definitely thought we were going to have it felt like we were close to a big wreck there a couple of times, but Jesse Turner comes out on top here today. sensational drive for him. Those guys really, I mean, Brock Nelson, obviously you don't want lap cars in the way like that, but Brock Nelson there at the end being in the way kind of really spiced things up because those guys were just Turner, Macro, Haslam, Bartow. They were all going at it, but a lot of those guys really went for it all day here at Las Vegas. Final thoughts here from the sprint race here at Las Vegas. Definitely not as what we were expecting here today by any stretch of the imagination from Las Vegas.
That was a good race. You finally figured this track out. Obviously, Brock Nelson helped us out a little bit there, I think, with the race lead, but Turner can thank him for that win, I feel like. Bartow, I'm sure he's feeling a little upset about that. He had a good shot at this one, but Brock Nelson got in the way, couldn't get around him, and Turner was able to. And like I said, the first guy who was going to get around Brock Nelson was going to win this race, and that's exactly what happened. And Jesse Turner, great to see him get a win. First ever winner on my channel 6 years ago, almost to the day. April 1st, 2015, when he won the first ever race on Napa Fam. So almost 6 years to the day, he goes back to Victory Lane here in the Body Armor Cup Series. How about that for good old Jesse?
In the number 6 machine, so just to add to the Illuminati here that's going on. But that was an impressive run from him in that 6 machine. It's definitely, worth noting, we got 37th in points, 36 in points, finished in 5th. You've got Aiden Macro, he came into the race 14th in points. He'll move up. Keegan Thompson came in 41st. He's going to move up. You have a lot of guys up here who really came into this race struggling in points, and they moved up a ton here today. It's going to help them in the long run, but that does it here for us today from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And next weekend on a Friday or Saturday night, obviously we're going to be heading up to the Pacific Northwest for the Armory Digital and the CenturyLink 400. It is going to be an absolute barn burner there. The Speedway physics and the plates off. It might, who knows, it might be an early contender for Race of the Year with how crazy it's going to be up there. But it's going to be a wild night in Armory Digital next weekend to wrap up the West Coast swing. But that does it here from Sin City in Las Vegas here today. On behalf of Napa fan Matt Tuck here, congratulations to Jesse Turner and Buck Racing on their first win of the season. And we will see you guys in Armory Digital. Till then, so long, everybody.